Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be all about the books that I've read in January and in February. It's going to be like a January-February wrap up just because these are all of the books that I've read. Like if I were to do it month by month, it'll be such a short video. So I decided to combine it, but I am a new reader, so I feel like this is a good amount for just starting out. But because I have my TBR, my physical TBR growing here, I'm definitely going to speed up my reading just because there's a lot of books that I want to get to. It's like I can't wait to get to them. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the first book I read. And well, this is actually a book that I read in December because that is when I first started reading. And it's A Thousand Boy Kisses. So let me start by saying that this is the first physical book that I read. Literally the first book that I read was an audiobook, and then that is what got me into reading and wanting to buy physical books and read physical books. But I listened to Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I don't know what like prompted me to do that, but it's so funny because I really enjoyed the audiobook. I loved the story, but on YouTube, like I see Colin Hoover get a lot of like negative feedback for like everyone has their own reasons, but she started off being like very viral and like everybody was crazy about her, but now I don't really hear recommendations or good things about her books. But I really enjoyed Ugly Love, and that's what got me into reading. So um yeah, I'm not a fan, but I'm also not a hater when it comes to Colleen Hoover. Like I think I really like listening to her books too, because I don't think I have a Colleen Hoover book on my TBR, like actually two. We'll get to that video, but I've only actually listened to one of her books. Anyways, so this is in December, but I'm including it now because these are like all of the books I've read since I started reading basically. So, A Thousand Boy Kisses. This is the first physical book I've read. I actually picked this up from Walmart. I wanted to get my hands on a physical book so bad after listening to the audiobook. Like I was like, I want to read. It's like I was craving a book and I don't know where it came from. Well, it came from the audiobook. But anyway, the reason why I got this book, like I was like spending a long time in the little Walmart section like trying to choose a book, but I like quickly like looked at reviews to help me choose from the few that I was like picking from. And everyone was crying to this. So I was just like there's no way that a book is going to make me cry. Like it made me want to read it so bad because I was just like everybody's crying. I'm definitely not going to cry. And I did cry several times. Like I cried several times while reading this. And I enjoyed it. I feel like um the only downside of this book, like the only reason why it's not a 5 star for me is because I mean it is a YA book. That's just the nature of the book. But I feel like there's parts of it that was just super cheesy because of their age, but at the same time, it's just the nature of the book. So that's just for me personally why it wasn't a 5 star. But I would give it a 4.5. Like I really enjoyed this book. Even looking back on this book, comparing it to the books that I've read after this, like this is definitely one that really stands out. Like I've never cried to a book like this. Highly recommend A Thousand Boy Kisses. Oh, I love this book. Like memories, like reading my first book basically in my 20s. Okay, so the book I read after that was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This was actually a Christmas present. Um, and I really enjoyed this book. This is another YA, so it's very interesting. I started off with Ugly Love, then I jumped into like two YAs. And that's what made me say like YAs aren't really for me, because this is a great book. Like I love the plot of this book. It made me want to finish faster because I wanted to know what was going to happen in the end. And I did, because I mean, I finished it in a week. To me, I mean, you could, some people read like 3 books in a week. I'm not there yet, but I finished this book in a week. It was really good. I'm not gonna give anything away about it, but all I will say is, like, I did not predict anything that would happen. I love the plot twist. On top of, like, I just loved it. The only thing I didn't like is the main character in the book. Sometimes I feel like she would say things that would just make me cringe sometimes. Like, it's the why it's the YA part of it though. Like, that's how I can explain it. That's how I can explain it. So this is the second book that I read. Moving on, in 5 years, you guys. This is the third book that I read. This book is sickening. Like, okay, first off, I recommend this book, but I don't give it 5 stars. I give it 4 stars. I actually have not had a 5 star read yet, but I have a lot of 4 stars. I feel like a 5 star has to hold. I have to save my 5 star place for something that like blows me away. But I definitely enjoyed reading this book. It's only like 230 pages, just about, and like I the thing, like, I was mad while I was reading this book because I didn't agree with what was happening in the book, and I feel like I was supposed to agree with the main character just because I was seeing her point of view, but I didn't agree with what she was doing. Like, but the way the book is set up, it tries to make it seem like it's not her fault. Like, this is just something that happened. But like, I just I just I was like, no, like, this is not right. But I don't want to, like, if you want to read the back of the book, go ahead. But I like to go into books blindly. All you need to know about this book: in 5 years, it gives you a preview of what this woman's life is in 5 years. So you get the point of view from the future and the present. And um, yeah, there's the couple in this book. I can talk about this book in a separate video, but basically, I enjoyed this book even though I did not agree with the main character's choices. I really liked the idea. Like, it took me, like, this book kind of took me away. Like, it took me to another world, kind of, like, just going into the future, the present. Like, I really enjoyed that. I feel like I didn't explain that book probably because I don't want to explain it. Like, I want you to read it. But that was a good book. I enjoyed it. Pick it up. Okay. So another book. Sorry. Neighbors. Sorry. Okay, so a lot of books just fell on the floor. We'll get to those too. After in 5 years. Okay, after in 5 years, I read Icebreaker. Okay, now this was like a very TikTok viral video. I know you heard about this. If you probably read it already. If you haven't, you definitely should. I really enjoyed this book. This is a very spicy book, by the way. I feel like there were points where I felt like it dragged along, but I feel like I was entertained. Yeah, when I was reading this book, I was definitely entertained. This was a 4 star read for me. Um, I feel like again, with this book, I didn't agree with some of the things that she did. Like, she was kind of getting on my nerves for a lot of the time. Like, she wasn't doing what I wanted her to do. And I feel like she was really, like, crossing some lines. That's all I'll say. But yeah, basically, this is about an ice skater and a hockey player. It's like a college romance kind of book. Um, there is a villain in this book, and that's what makes it interesting. Like, that's what makes the whole book interesting. Um, even like even though, yeah, there's definitely characters in this book that will get on your nerves, but it's also what makes it interesting at the same time. There is a lot of spice in this book. Did I say that already? Yeah. Okay, so after I read that, I went ahead and I started reading the Dreamland series. Now, about this book, right? No, wait. No, I lied. Okay, after Icebreaker, I wanted to pick up like a witchy kind of book. When I saw this cover, I just felt like cozy vibes. And this is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Now, I really enjoyed this book, especially towards the end though. Like there were time like looking back I enjoyed it, but while I was reading it, I was kind of just like, okay, where is it going kind of thing. But I enjoyed the characters. I feel like there's themes in this book of people that feel like they don't fit in, um, and family dynamics and things like that. But yeah, so basically the main character is teaching younger witches how to hone their powers. And so there's a lot of family history that comes out in the book. And yeah, there's a lot about family dynamics, I would say, that I really enjoyed. And like there's themes of home, like what is home to you kind of thing. Um I resonated with this book more towards the end. I have not DNF'd the book. I plan to just never do that. Um Speaking of, there's a book that I need to, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I've never DNF'd a book, but I would have DNF'd this book because it was pretty slow. But I was like, does cozy mean slow? Like, does cozy mean like what is? Because this is a cozy fantasy kind of thing. I feel like it was cozy, but I was bored at some points. However, I'm glad that I finished the end. I stuck it through to the end because I really enjoyed it and I resonated with it in the end. Like, me personally resonated with the story in the end. So I'm glad that I picked that up. Um, Next, I ordered all my books from Amazon because they're cheaper, but I did get the first one from Walmart. But okay, so then I got okay, so I ordered Terms and Conditions. This is a part of the Dreamland Billionaire series. So the story behind this is I thought that this was the first book in the series. I ordered it, started reading it, turned it to the side, saw the number two. I was like, oh, this is the second book in the series. So instead of ordering the first one, I realized that like I was still on my free trial for Kindle Unlimited, and I realized that this series is on Kindle Unlimited. So I read, um, what is the first book in this? I read the fine print on the Kindle, and I was gonna go ahead and read this physical copy since I already had it, but I was enjoying reading on the Kindle so much that I read the fine print and I read Terms and Conditions on my Kindle. and that's when I decided to buy one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So altogether from January to I've read 8 books. And that's the wrap up. My battery's dying. Bye guys. See you in the next one.